Unlock your digital dreams. This is New Deep Dive.
Have you ever felt that wave of information just washing over you, trying to make sense of some complex news story?
Oh, yeah, like a big weather event maybe, or something about international agreements.
Exactly. And you're just wading through it all, wondering, what's really happening here? It's like this data overload. And you just want someone to give you the clear picture, maybe the surprising bits too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, today, that's what we're aiming for. We're taking a deep dive into something that, okay, might sound a bit specific at first, the recent flood situation in Poland.
Right. And how it connects quite closely, actually, to water management over in the Czech Republic.
It might sound, a little dense, but stick with us. We think there are some genuinely surprising insights here about how countries handle these vital shared resources.
And our job today really is to arm you with the important stuff. We've looked at official updates from Woody Polski, that's Poland's water agency, and data from their meteorology institute, the IMGW.
Plus media reports and info on the Czech systems, too.
Exactly, focusing just on July 12th to 13th, 2025. So the goal is cut through the noise, look at the actual data, maybe clear up some worries you've seen flying around.
Yeah, dispel some myths.
And show you how these monitoring systems and the cooperation actually work across borders. It's quite impressive when you dig into it.
Okay, so let's start there. Poland. Despite all this intense rain they've had, the big picture is surprisingly stable, right?
That's the main takeaway, yeah. Remarkably stable.
We're hearing no major alarm levels breached on the big rivers, the Odra, the Wisła, in the last day or so, which honestly is pretty impressive given the circumstances.
It really is. But here's where the nuance comes in. While those main arteries are okay, some of the smaller rivers, especially in the southern mountain basins, they did briefly hit what they call warning levels.
Ah, okay, so not alarm bells ringing everywhere, but yellow lights flashing in places.
Precisely. Think yellow lights. This was mostly thanks to a low-pressure system they call Gabriel, just dumping a lot of rain in specific spots.
Yeah.
So, for instance, you had the Sikoka River at Gorlice just tick over its warning mark 394 centimeters when the warning's 390.
Okay, not by much then.
No, not by much. Same for the Dunajec at Srmos-Fiun and the Biacha at Tribs 2. Just nudging over those local warning levels.
But crucially,
These were very localized spikes, and the data immediately showed a falling trend. They basically peaked and started dropping right away.
right, that's fascinating. A warning level hit, but then immediately receding. So it makes you ask, why wasn't it much worse? How much did Poland's flood defenses actually do here, the reservoirs?
Oh, massively important. This is where you really see the benefit of their infrastructure and planning. It's not just adequate, it's built with a lot of reserve capacity.
Okay.
So get this, all 52 of their main wet retention reservoirs, they're basically at 100% of their flood capacity, or even a bit more. Only one, Tresna, was slightly under at 99%.
Wow.
And the total flood reserve they have available, it's over 1.2 billion cubic meters of water.
1.2 billion.
Billion, yeah. Which is roughly 440 million cubic meters more than their own operating rules strictly require.
So they've built in a huge safety margin.
A huge buffer. Especially in the south, their reservoirs there hold over 920 million cubic meters. And that's not even counting the 30 dry reservoirs, like the big Raciborus Dolny one, which can take another 277 million cubic meters if needed.
Like emergency basins.
Exactly. And Woody Polski actively used this system. They successfully held back about 25.5 million cubic meters of water just recently. It shows real active management, not just passive storage.
That really highlights the foresight. But it's not just about concrete and dams, is it? What about the people on the ground?
No, absolutely not. There's constant proactive effort. Woody Polski runs 204/7 monitoring, and they're working really closely with crisis teams, fire brigades, the military.
Coordinated effort.
Very much so. They carried out 166 interventions in just the last few days, things like shoring up embankments where they looked weak. And it's important to remember they'd already reinforced infrastructure after the floods back in September 2024 in places like Strony Sluski.
Ah, learning from past events.
Definitely. And they're constantly checking these embankments, no new damage reported, which is good news. It's this combination of solid infrastructure and round-the-clock vigilance.
Okay, so that's the present situation, looking
Yeah.
pretty robust. What about the immediate future? What's the forecast saying?
Well, the IMGW, the Meteorology Institute, they aren't forecasting any major rainfall in the next 24 hours.
Good.
Yeah, just maybe some moderate localized showers, perhaps up to 20 millimeters, mainly down in the southeast. But crucially, they see no risk of sudden flash floods.
So that positive forecast helps things stabilize further.
Exactly. It gives the systems and the people managing them a bit of breathing room.
All right, let's pivot slightly. Because you sometimes hear these whispers, right? Or see things on social media, especially when rivers cross borders. Are the Czech reservoirs releasing water? Could that be impacting Poland?
That's a really common concern, and it's important we tackle it directly.
So what's the official word?
The official word as of July 12th, 13th is clear. There are no confirmed reports of any planned water discharges from Czech reservoirs aimed downstream towards Poland.
None.
None. In fact, Woody Polsky has actually stated the opposite, that the Czech flood control reservoirs are currently set up to receive more water, to absorb inflows, not to release it.
Okay, that's a pretty definitive statement. It directly contradicts those rumors then.
It does. And it highlights just how crucial that cross-border communication is.
It also helps to look back a bit, doesn't it? Because there have been Czech water releases in the past, but the context was different.
Exactly right. You have to look at the context. Back in September 2024, yes, the Czechs did release some water from tributary dams. It was a preemptive move. They did it before a predicted flood wave hit, specifically to lower the water levels in those dams to make space, to create more capacity to absorb the incoming peak.
So managing the situation proactively, not reacting during a crisis.
Precisely. It's also worth remembering, even back in 2022, Woody Polsky had to come out and debunk rumors about big Czech discharges into the Oder River.
Oh, right, I remember that.
Yeah, they clarified that the water level rises seen in Poland then were just from rainfall within Poland's borders, not from Czech releases. So there's a history here of needing to clarify these things.
Which really just underlines how important that Polish-Czech cooperation must be. How does that actually work on a practical level? How do they coordinate to stop accidental problems?
Well, it's ongoing and seems pretty robust. You have the agencies like Woody Polsky in Poland and the Czech Hydrometeorological Institute, talking constantly.
Sharing data.
Coordinating actions, especially for that shared Oder River basin. The goal is always to prevent any kind of uncontrolled discharge that could cause problems downstream in Poland.
And does it work?
The evidence suggests it does. Take the Ostrava Dam failure in Czechia back in September 2024. That could have been a major issue.
Yeah.
But it had basically no impact on Poland's key reservoirs downstream, like Raciborz Dolny. That big dry polder just absorbed things as needed. It shows the coordination and the infrastructure working together.
That's a really good example. Okay, so we're talking about these Czech reservoirs playing a role, even if it's just by not releasing water right now. Where are these big reservoirs? Can you give us a sense of their scale?
Sure. Czechia has quite a network. One of the giants is Orlik, near Salinas on the Vltava River.
Orlik, okay.
It's actually the site of the largest hydropower plant in the country, and the reservoir itself holds a massive 720 million cubic meters. Huge capacity.
And others.
Then there's Ilivka, near Humpolek. This one is crucial because it's the largest water supply reservoir not just in Czechia but in all of Central Europe. Holds about 246 million cubic meters, providing drinking water for many people.
So power generation, drinking water. What else?
Well, there's Lipino, also on the Vltava. Maybe you've heard of it. It's the largest by surface area.
The big recreational one.
That's the one. Very popular, like an inland sea for them. You also have Vrinov on the Dyje River. They call it the Moravian Adria. Apparently it's beautiful.
Moravian Adria, I like that.
Yeah. And there's also an interesting system of 3 connected reservoirs at Nové Mlyny. All told, Czechia has over 125 of these artificial water bodies.
Over 125.
Yeah. And together they can store something like 20 to 40% of the country's water resources. That storage is a key part of their management strategy, just like in Poland.
Okay, that paints a much clearer picture of the Czech side, which leads to the next obvious question.
Yeah.
How do they keep track of all this? And more importantly, can you, if you're listening, actually check this data yourself? Verify what we're saying?
Yes, you absolutely can. And they have pretty sophisticated monitoring systems. The main players running these are HMU, the official institute, and also a private company called Fiedler AMs.
And they provide real-time data.
They do. Real-time data on water levels, flows. It makes the whole situation quite transparent, actually. If you want to check yourself, here are the key places to look.
Okay, good.
First, try www.hlidiny.cz, HLADINY.cz. That's the Fiedler IMS service. It gives current water levels for rivers, streams, reservoirs. You can pick specific measuring points, like near Orlik, and see the live data.
hmni.cz, got it. What else?
Second, the official site, www.chmi.cdmi.cz. That's the Czech Hydrometeorological Institute. They've got loads of hydrological data, reservoir levels, interactive maps, the works.
chmi.cz.
And third, if you're specifically interested in the Vltava River Basin, where Orlik and Lipno are, check out www.pvl.cz, pbal.mcec. That's the Vltava River Basin Authority.
Great resources. So the data is out there.
It is. And one quick point, people sometimes assume you can just find webcams pointing at all the dams.
Right, like a traffic cam.
Yeah, but you generally won't find many public cameras right on the dams, mainly for security reasons. There might be some in tourist areas around the lakes, like Lipno.
But for the actual water management situation.
The real-time data from those websites we mentioned, that's far more useful and accurate for understanding what's really going on with water levels and flows.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. What does this deep dive mean for you, the listener, trying to navigate these complex stories?
Well, I think the first key takeaway is that Poland's flood situation right now is stable. It's being actively managed.
Yeah, despite the heavy rain, that robust infrastructure, and those proactive measures, they seem to be holding strong.
Exactly. And the second point is about those concerns regarding Czech water releases.
The rumors.
The rumors, yeah. They don't seem to be supported by the official data right now. What we're seeing instead is evidence of good international cooperation and transparent communication.
So, stable situation in Poland and coordinated management across the border.
Pretty much. And what we've really seen today is just how interconnected these massive water systems are, across borders.
Absolutely.
And how vital things like data sharing and planning ahead and having that reserve capacity, how critical all that is.
Yeah, it's not just about reacting, it's about preparing.
Totally. So maybe as you think about future weather news, just consider everything that's happening behind the scenes, all the monitoring, the coordination, managing these huge reservoirs. It's quite an operation to keep things stable and keep people informed.
It really is. Perhaps next time you hear about floods somewhere, maybe you'll feel a bit more equipped to look past the headlines, find those data sources we talked about.
And really understand the bigger picture. That calm surface often hides a huge amount of coordinated human effort.
Subscribe to New Deep Dive.